When you're creating art, you need to make decisions constantly. The lines, the values, the colors. There's so many. What if I told you I have a way to make the right decision every time and make your tattoo designs to look more interesting? Working in the illustration industry for over a decade, it gave me a different way to design by solving visual problems. So in this video, we're going to talk about different things, about contrast, and how to use this rule to improve and tell the story that you want to tell. When I was growing up, we were taught that we need to share, especially me, that I grew up with two brothers. My mom and dad always said, comparte con tus hermanos, Jesús Adrián. It was the same amount for everyone, so we didn't fight each other.
Fun fact, they fought extra hard.
And that's good for us. It teaches us equality and makes us a good human, but equality is boring, just visually though. Okay, segunda prueba. When you're creating art, you're supposed to have a main subject, a predominant figure that's gonna hold the theme of your artwork. If you're trying to communicate too many different things in a piece of artwork, the message is gonna get lost. You're misusing their attention. And attention is a currency that you don't want to waste. Like for example, in this image. If I decide I want one part in red and the other in green, some people might look to the left, some people might look to the right. There is no way to say where people will look. Both were artists. That means we're storytellers. We shouldn't leave anything to people's interpretations. We like conductors in our orchestra, telling people how to play the music, how we want them to play. In art, it's a bit different, but the same. You're just trying to lead the people's eyes to the piece of artwork that you made so they can look where you want them to look. So before telling you how to make the right decision in every piece of artwork that you're going to make in the future, I want to talk about this concept that's going to help you to understand everything. Honestly, me and my brothers love it. Contrast. Contrast is a way to differentiate one object from another in a composition. You can see it and you can work it in many different ways. But let me show you how. Contrast in values is the difference in lightness and darkness between one or more elements in a composition. For reference, look at this picture. This is a portrait with a really good contrast in it. You have a chiaroscuro and you can see the difference where the light is coming from and where the darkness is hitting the face. When a picture has a really good contrast and you can differentiate big shapes, darkness and big shapes for the light, this we call it like chiaroscuro. It's a technique that the old painters used to do to differentiate how much light and how much darkness a picture or a body or an element will have. Contrast in colors. This is one of the subjects that I love so much. It's more complex and it has many variations that can affect a color. Let me show you why. Contrast in hue. Hue is the difference, the selection of the color. How one color can you differentiate from another? Like this, we have like the color wheel, and the color wheel is gonna be your best friend during everything that you're gonna learn about color. And here you can see position it in the color wheel. We selected a color. Let's say, okay, I selected red, but I want to have many different types of red. How do I change this? Changing the hue? No, change the hue, you want to change the color completely. But if you want to keep it to the same color, this is a way that you can have contrast in your image, working with value. And you can see how much intense the red can be, how much light the red can be, and how much darkness it can have. So that this will depend how much interaction with light the color will have. The value is the fundamental for colors. It will help you to work with same color but with different shades of values. If you have a good foundation, if the value work, the colors are gonna look good. Another example that I have over here to show you is one of the designs that I made for my friend Christopher. I'm working on this sleeve for him. It's a sleeve focused on Gundam Wing. On this character, he has many shades of green. You have like a darker green, a medium tone green, and a light green. Only with that, you can have an illustration, a character that is readable. If people can see what is up front, what's in the back, it doesn't matter what color you pick. The value is going to help you to hold this. Okay, so what happens when you already work with the value or you want to explore more with the colors? So let's work with saturation. Saturation refers more to the intensity of the color. We have different type of red on this picture, but it's the same red. The thing is, I'm working the intensity of the color. If you take away some of the red from the image, it's gonna start losing intensity, more intensity, and then it's gonna get closer to the grays because it doesn't work by itself. You're removing the intensity of the color, and the color is not gonna look vibrant enough because you're just having a value at the end. This is another example that you can have for saturation. A design that I make of Tanjiro at the beginning of the series with the other kimono, all that. The thing is, It has many different blues. All the blues that we have over here, they don't have the same intensity of the square. You have like a more intensity. If you start moving it more closer to the left side, closer to the value of this square, you will see how this color start losing saturation. Tattoos start losing a little bit the intensity of the color after they heal. That's a normal process in the skin. Another way that we can have contrast in an illustration in line work. That's something that I use a lot for my anime tattoos. And you can play with this to create different elements and to create focal points so people can look wherever you want them to look. Create like the contour of the faces with a thicker line work, and on the inside I work with more thin lines, so it's a way to frame what I want people to look. In the inside I have thin lines with a lot of details and a lot of expression, contour of the face. It's gonna help me to draw attention of the eye of the viewer. Usually focal points on illustration, on anime, are faces, because people want to look faces, people want to look expressions. And another way that we can have contrast in a composition is contrast by size. Working on this design, I want to communicate what's the importance of characters in this illustration. The Timothy Chalamet face like a focal point. We have Zendaya. She has like a secondary spot, and then at the end on top I have a small radius. I just wanted to put like a small detail over there, a small element, trying to communicate more about the journey of this hero. Contrast inside is super important, and you can work in many different ways. Try not to have like a many elements with the same size or sizes that are too close together. Let's say, for example, I have this design and I have like a huge Timothy Chalamet. Next to it or below, I have a huge face of Zendaya. Elements are gonna start fighting each other for attention. Like I told you before, attention is a currency that you don't want to waste. You use your elements in the best way possible, your message, and you can communicate your story the way you want you to tell. There is many ways to use contrast. The important thing is to remember that contrast works by comparison. If you have elements like looking too close to each other, looking kind of the same to another, your art is going to look flat. How to make the right choice for your tattoo designs. 1730 rule. You may ask why I'm in a different clothes, different t-shirts. First, because I'm filming in 2 days. Second reason about this video, it makes total sense. I'm gonna explain to you later. 1730 rule. This rule helps you to have a visual balance in your illustration, in your composition, your tattoo design. Like I said before, when you try to have equal balance in an illustration, where you have like a split in the middle and they have the same amount for one side and the same amount for the other side, nothing will stand out. Draw the attention to one spot, achieve what you want to tell. You can take the most advantage of this rule. This is a design that I created for my client Alina. This is a leg piece. This illustration in two main colors, a purple and a red one. So by that you have a composition that works really well. This is another piece I created for my friend Yankee. This is the piece that I created for his bicep, and this helped me to create like a visual balance, a visual distribution that's gonna help to read the piece a bit better. This is another piece. The main focus was Fenrir. You have Fenrir like a really big against this warrior, like is walking towards him. That you create like a flow in your illustration that people look to the focal point and then move around. If you want to have contrast in size, you need to work this rule the other way around. In the previous example, I was showing you the 30% working as a focal point and the other 70% working as a secondary element. In this design, I work with my guy as a main focal point, but in size. Created like a bigger size for him, having like the tiger in the bottom in a smaller size, a distribution like that makes like understand very easily to see what's the main theme of this piece. If we had like two elements with the same size in a composition, the viewer is not going to understand easily, is not going to understand fast what's the main subject of this piece. 70% in values. This one, honestly, for me is like the most difficult one to achieve. I'm still learning about it. I'm still working towards to using this in my piece of artwork. It's a very simplified way to put it, because they just use like two main values, and you can understand what's the focal point and you can direct your eye exactly to the focal point. So let me show you how they work it. This portrait of Rembrandt is a very easy way to see it. It is a very dark value with the background and his clothes and his hat, but the face, you can see like the value is super light. or restrain yourself to using many values in every part of your illustration. For me, it's kind of difficult, but I'm explaining to you while I'm still learning about it, because this is a good way to create attention, to create contrast in your illustration. But you can have contrast in many different ways. What do you want to tell? What is your focal point, your first element in the illustration? So people can understand it easily and the message is gonna get right to the viewer. Also, like a rule, sometimes you can bend it, sometimes you can break it. It depends on what do you want to do, but this percentage is just like a start point for you. You can work it with 60-40, or you can work it with 80-20. Have an intention with each decision that you make, because each decision is going to make your art even better. Like I said before, you see me here with these different clothes and different lighting, and the other reason that I wanted to do this is because it's part of the theme of the video, the 70-30 rule. The first part of the video, the first 70% of the video, I was with a different clothes, different lighting, but I was giving you the fundamental and the basics to help you to understand the other 30%. This one, the rule, the 70-30% rule. If I don't give you the other 70% of information, talking about contrast, talking how to use the contrast in different ways, you're not gonna understand this rule. Without the 70%, you cannot have the 30%. You cannot have the focal point, or the other way around. If you don't have the 30%, the 70% is not going to be your main element.
Makes sense.
If I don't tell you all the information at the beginning of the video, you won't understand, or you won't take the most advantage of this information. Be conscious about that. If you don't have an intention and you start playing around, the message that you want to tell is going to get lost. If you like this video, please let me know in the comments. Be a like, subscribe if you haven't yet. Thank you, and see you in the other video.